After his death in 970 BC, David, who was the subject of my previous video, was succeeded by his son Solomon. And so this video is on the multi-talented, all-wise, artistic superhuman that is King Solomon. Now once again, I must state that the majority of this information comes from the Bible and should therefore be taken with a rather hefty pinch of salt, particularly in Solomon's case. I shall make clear once again the hard archaeological evidence. If David was the one who fought to unite the empire, Solomon was the one who built it up into a commercial and cultural powerhouse. He quickly took charge of strategic locations such as Palestine, bridging the Mediterranean and Red Sea, Asia and Africa. This allowed him to create a vast trading network, bringing much wealth into the kingdom. Taking the Bible at face value, Solomon's reign is described as possibly the most magnificent in all the ancient world. His military force was said to contain 12,000 cavalrymen and 1,400 chariots. These are pretty hefty numbers for the period, considering the size of the kingdom. Solomon also had time to kick back and have some fun, with a harem of 700 wives and 300 concubines. It's good to be the king. Let's be honest, these figures reported in the Bible are in a bit of a fantasy land. They're pretty exaggerated. However, if they are anywhere remotely close to these numbers, then the Israelite kingdom under Solomon was at the height of power and prestige. And there is some archaeological evidence that these numbers might not be too far from the truth after all. For example, in the city of Megiddo, the remains of stalls capable of holding 450 horses have been discovered, and that's just in one place. Solomon extended his kingdom through several marriage alliances, such as marrying the daughter of the Egyptian pharaoh. He also made an alliance with the infamous Queen of Sheba, who, when visiting Solomon, was told that she may have whatever her heart desired. It is often wondered if that might have included a son with the king. Solomon is most renowned for having built the first temple in Jerusalem to house the Ark of the Covenant. This temple became the Jewish people's holiest place, and thousands of years later, the spot where it was built is still considered so. This spot is also extremely holy in the Islamic faith and is known as the Haram al-Sharif. One amongst his many talents that Solomon is remembered for is his building projects. He is said to have built many beautiful cities and wondrous palaces for each of his many wives. Solomon was also renowned in the Bible as one of the wisest men in the ancient world. The most famous example of his intellect in action is when two women came to him with a little baby, both claiming to be the baby's mother. Solomon said that in order to solve this dilemma, the baby should be cut in half and shared between them. Seems fair enough to me. My mother always taught me it was important to share. He knew that the baby's true mother would rather give up her child than see it killed, and so the true mummy was discovered. Now, unfortunately, there is no archaeological evidence that King Solomon existed, and there is also very little evidence of his temple in Jerusalem. However, the biblical descriptions of the temple are accurate for that time period. The biblical account of Solomon is wrapped up in much mythology, and while certain parts are plausible, such as the temple, which we know for a fact existed a few years after his supposed death due to ancient Egyptian records, his military force, though slightly exaggerated, is also fairly realistic, along with much of his building work. However, power over the elements, the ability to talk to birds and ants, the ownership of a magic carpet and ring, and a seal with the power to banish demons and trap genies. These aspects of King Solomon's life, I'll let you decide.